Hey everyone, I'm your average guide, Sahil Gogna. Thanks for tuning into my podcast series. Welcome to episode 1 of the series, The Tech Talks. In our first episode, we have a very special guest, Mr. Atul Shinh. He is an experienced web developer with over 12 years of experience in web development. Currently, he is working at Western Union Business Solutions in Vancouver, British Columbia. He is not only experienced in his industry but also an experienced mentor. He has been my guide since my first year of the college, and he was the one who helped me to make one of the toughest decisions of my life, which university to choose after my 12th grade. So I decided to invite him to this show and ask him some questions that freshers and experienced people in his industry struggle to answer. Hello, Mr. Atul. Welcome to my show.
Hi, Sahil. Thanks very much for all the recognition that you gave me, and delighted to
My
know.
honor.
Okay, yeah, it is my honor too to be a part of this. So let's begin.
Yeah, sure. So I'll tell my listeners that you came here in Canada as a permanent resident, along with a lot of experience in your industry. So I would like to ask, was it really difficult to get a job when you landed here in Canada? So it's a common myth in people's mind, like if you are too much experienced, like the job, it gets served to you. So how hard was it to get a job?
Being in IT, one benefit that we have is it's not a regulated job. So we can come here and without any bridging courses, etc., we can start looking for a job and we can get that job. But at the same time, it is not that simple as well. I mean, you don't get it served in a plate. So you have to put some efforts. So, so first thing is try to update your profile. Then create a network and then look in on the right platform, on the right areas to link. So from my experience, I got a call from a very good company within a month of arriving.
Okay.
So, but prior to that, I had updated my profile on LinkedIn. I applied on Monster.ca and Indeed. So these were the three main platforms that I was using. So I was able to get an interview call, which is a big thing. And so I mean, it's not that difficult. If, for example, if you're in a medical profession or an engineer, then you have to go through a lot of other, steps. But in IT, you have a benefit, but you have to prepare yourself.
Okay. So you're saying it's relatively easier to get a call for the interview and for the job if we are in IT field as compared to the other professions in Canada.
Yeah, but at the same time, it depends on what time you arrive, how's the industry during that time. So be ready that at worst case, it might be 6 months or even longer, but I think 6 months is enough time to get a job in IT, your first job in IT in Canada, even as a newcomer.
Yeah, because what I've heard, like most of people, like they try to apply for job for 15 to 20 days, and when they don't get any call, they get discouraged and they even stop applying. Like it has happened with a lot of my friends.
Yeah, no, I'll share another experience. I have applied for a lot of jobs. So let's say if you apply for 100 jobs, you're gonna get call only for 10 or less. I mean, that's the average I'm giving. So apply more and apply with a different updated resume based on the job description every time. And then you will get calls and keep applying. I mean, make sure you're doing the right things. But this is the average. So don't be discouraged that you have to do a lot of work initially. But don't be discouraged. Just keep on going. Keep updating yourself with the tech stuff and all. In the meantime, when you are doing all of this, so patience is the key.
Yeah. So you brought a very important point, like updating your resume according to job profile. What I have felt like the most people that they make one common mistake is like they use the same resume for all the positions they are applying for, whether it's for web development, if they are applying for Java.
Mhm. And
So I think that, yeah.
it is very important because you see, in Canada, immigrants, new people are coming, and so applicants are increasing.
Mhm.
So nowadays, nobody is reading your resume. They are being picked from certain keywords. So
Okay.
if the job description says key skills required are, let's say, jQuery, Angular, and React, and
Okay.
you have, you have not read that job description and you have not updated your resume using those keywords, make sure if you have worked on those, make sure you have those keywords in your resume. So must have skills should show in your resume if you want to apply or get an interview call shortlisted. So that's the key.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So you have your experience in India as well as in Canada.
Yeah.
So is there any difference in terms of work environment you have experienced in India and Canada?
Yes, there is a difference, and it's not too much for IT. I mean, if in India you have worked in MNC, you probably know a lot of, you are familiar with a lot of stuff. But still, I would state some points like work timings are respected here.
Mhm.
So, I mean, if you commit something, if your company needs you 9 a.m. in the office, you make sure. I mean, not every company has this requirement, but if some company has it, so you
Okay.
have to respect that. And another thing is work-life balance is very important here. So
Mhm.
I'm not sure. Back in, I hear some people in, let's say, India or other countries, they have to put a lot of effort. They have to work extra time sometimes, but
Mhm.
that's not very usual here. I mean, everyone respects that you have a personal life as well. So 8 hours means you can leave your office at the end of the day, 8 hours. Uh,
Yeah.
I mean, some exceptions are always there, like some emergency stuff, etc. But otherwise,
Mhm.
and if you are planning for leaves, plan them before and notify your team. So nobody will question you why you are taking leaves for, let's say, 1 week. Why? I mean, even if you're in the middle of something, most of the times
Mhm.
it won't matter. Everybody respects that you are taking your leave off until. I mean, I remember sometimes in India, I mean, employees were scared to talk to their managers if they have
Right.
to take a leave or something in the middle of the project. So that's not the case here. And another thing is work from home is appreciated
Yeah.
in most of the companies. I
Mhm.
mean most of the companies, and that's not a big deal. So if you want to work, let's say 2 days from home or 3 days, it depends on company to company, but it's not a big deal here. So yeah, these are few points that I came across. Another thing is cultural differences are always there. I mean, you have come across a huge distance. So differences. So my advice would be watch, listen, and then act.
Okay.
For example, I mean, handshaking, hugging is a big thing maybe in some place, and it's not a big thing in Canada. So you have
Yeah.
to uh, respond accordingly, behave accordingly. You don't have to change
Mhm.
the score yourself, but yeah, some
Yeah.
behaviors can be changed.
Yeah, you need to adjust according to the environment you're currently
Yeah,
working. Yeah, you need to adapt to the new things.
yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk a bit about
Uh-huh.
your industry. So these are days, like a lot of new front end technologies are
Mhm.
emerging, like React, Angular, Drupal, and it's very hard for a professional to decide which one of these should they follow, because every company
Mhm.
has their own tech stack.
Mhm.
So can you like do you can you tell me like which technologies are majorly in demand in Canadian
Mhm.
IT industry
Okay,
at this moment?
I can begin with web development or front end as an example. So
Mhm.
right now we are hearing these big technologies like AI and big data science, etc. So no doubt going to shape the future. But at the same time, web technology is in demand right now. It's a big thing. So I would recommend sticking to the basics. Learning the basics very well is the key thing. I mean, let's say in future, whatever happens, if we know the programming basics, I think they are going to help us anyway, somehow. If you have logical mind, analytical thinking, so you can grow out into any. So if we talk about front end, so making sure you know HTML, CSS, JavaScript. So these are three pillars of web development. So make sure you know the basics of these, and you know them very well if you want to be a front-end developer. So HTML5, what are the new features? CSS3, what are the new advancements? I mean, with CSS3 you can do a lot of stuff which was earlier done via JavaScript. So now you don't need JavaScript for even, I mean, some simple animations can be done using CSS3. So knowing in and out of what your career is built onto, and then top of that you can learn Bootstrap, which is a popular front-end framework. It's a very plus point. And then React and Vue and Angular do not need any introduction. Everybody's aware of those. So but first, I would say the pillars. I mean, make sure your pillars are strong, your roots are deep. So basics, and on top of that, you can develop anything. If you want to go in back end, then Java, C#, whatever, even PHP. Learn the concepts very well, and then you can keep jumping into whatever field. So yeah, for example, even I mean, even a lot of tools like Browser Stack, Jenkins, and then other concepts like web optimization, they will keep on adding, but the basics are good to have. I mean, important to have.
So you're saying like a person should firstly focus on the basics of of any technology, and then only they can.
Yes, for example, React is very important, but it is JavaScript in working. So why not learn JavaScript well? Then it will be helpful for you to grow out as a React developer. So that's my point.
I know your love for JavaScript, like you are the person who have JavaScript for your brain.
I mean, I could tell from my experience. I used to work on CMSs, open source CMSs like Typo3 and Drupal, and I was not well versed in JavaScript at that time, and I mean, once you do not have demand for Drupal or Typo3, then what you're up to. So that's when I got back. I'm back to school kind, and learned JavaScript enough so that I can have strong basics.
So you have just talked about PHP, learning PHP for the backend. So but nowadays, like what I have heard from a lot of blogs and online community, like PHP is becoming a bit obsolete in web development industry. So how much do you agree with this statement?
I have not myself been using PHP from a last couple of years, but if I check the stats, I mean, even today, 78% of the websites are using PHP. And so it is not gonna die very soon. Even if it is dying, I won't be predicting future. And another thing is WordPress, which has 36% share of the websites across globe, is using PHP. Maybe if they get away from PHP, some of their features they have moved from PHP to other technologies. So maybe that's there is some decline in popularity by 2 or 3%, but that's not enough. And more, I think, is See, big companies, they're not using PHP. Let's say many of them are using still, but let's say most of them are not. But
Okay.
but developers like us and many new developers are joining, like freelancers. Everybody is having websites, so
Mm-hmm.
so there is a lot of room for PHP. Everyone is not going to use Java. Let's say a person sitting in Beijing or New Delhi building his own website. I think PHP has a lot of scope. So yes, if you talk about Fortune 500 companies, it's Java, Python, C++. But rest of the world is, I mean, everybody is using web these days. Everybody is, making his presence on web. So I don't think it's gonna die any sooner. And you can check a study from w3text.com. So they have given, this research piece on PHP. So which shows like a lot of PHP is still popular. So not anytime soon, not anytime soon. So that's what I'm gonna say. Even you see a lot of people, a lot of traffic is on mobiles these days, right? So like 53% share of the web, let's say, has gone to mobile nowadays. But how does that impact PHP? It doesn't have any impact on PHP because we have responsive web technologies, and you can have the backend on PHP. So your sites are doing very well on whatever the backend. I mean, front end is coping up with the devices, so not an issue, I guess.
So we can consider this skill as good to have, but not must have in these days, because we have a lot of other options.
Yeah. I mean. If you're starting your career and you are learning PHP, not a bad option. Yeah, but if you want to go into data science and AI, those fancy big names, so of course then you have to jump to some other boat.
So you just talked about for a fresher, the one who is just starting his career. So is there any good tech stack they should learn in order to get a good job or to get a good exposure in the industry?
Yeah, for if you talk about web technologies or web developer career, I will again say learning the basics, HTML, CSS, JavaScript. That's very important. And on top of that, I mean, you have to see what all is required in the development of a web project. So there is initial setup. We need some tools to set up a project. So nowadays we have Webpack, Babel, and so you make sure that you are familiar with those projects. And Node.js is very popular. All of the packages are managed via a Node Package Manager, NPM. So basics plus make sure you know a little bit in and out of throughout the life cycle. You know what tools are being used for testing front end or websites. Selenium is one, Cypress, and then we have continuous integration tools like Jenkins and Karma. So knowing them is good. So make sure you know the complete life cycle if you want to showcase yourself ahead of the league or something. So basics first, and then spread throughout the life cycle of the web project. And so that was only web development related. And you know that if you are in data science, you have to go for either Java, Python, SQL, and
If we talk about the web development industry, so like a lot of things are being taught in the schools and the colleges, and there are people like who just learn whatever it is taught in the school and college. So in school, like as you said, like they do teach the basics like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and then at the top of it they might introduce you to it's very rare chance like you get introduced to the frameworks like React or Angular at the college or the school level. So for those, do they need to learn, or like should they just stick to the basics and they should apply without even learning those? Or like, what's your piece of advice to such people?
One thing is so let's say you learned the basics in school and you are good enough, and now you need a job. So are you getting enough search lists, results when you search for something based on your basic skills. I'm not quite sure. So there might be something you
Okay.
need to add on. So you might need to add some skills. So if school is not teaching you, you need to get hands-on experience, or at least start doing your own projects. So start doing your own
Okay.
projects. Have a GitHub account. Maintain all your projects there, and showcase your projects
Mm-hmm.
in something like codepen.io. So when you, because you're,
Okay.
if you are a newcomer or you are just out of the school, so what matters is you don't have experience, right? But you can showcase that you are
Yeah.
already doing projects, and you have the interest,
Mm-hmm.
you have the zeal to learn and do more. So I think
Mm-hmm.
that will be the key for you, for a newcomer or just out of school guy. Yeah, and yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so I would say go online, find out, do you
Mm-hmm.
yourself, get your hands dirty in the code. So that's the key for
Yeah.
newcomers, and
Yeah.
showcase whatever you do. Build a
So
online profile and showcase whatever you are doing.
okay. Okay. So you're talking about the online courses. So is there any like, or are there any online learning platforms which you have personally used or you would like to recommend to the listeners who are listening
Oh
to our
yes,
podcast?
online learning is a big thing these days, and I
Uh-huh.
think I have used some of them, like Udemy, and I have subscribed, bought a lot of courses on Udemy, and
Okay.
another I have come across is Udacity, and then Coursera. So
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
it depends, like what you are, what is your ask out of these. So for example, Udemy is only for learning. Uh, so you can go and check out courses based on the ratings and number of users subscribed. You can, choose between which course.
Yeah.
Udacity offers
Mm-hmm.
programs in collaboration with the industry vendors, for example, AWS and universities.
Uh-huh.
So if that matters to
Uh-huh.
you, Udacity is the place to go. And they even offer real world projects, career coaching, career services like resume, interview preparation, profile management. So yeah, that will answer your previous question. So this can be big thing for online
Yeah.
newcomers. So because some of
Okay.
these online platforms do help out here as well. And Coursera provides courses and certificates and even degrees from universities and companies. So
Mhm.
if somebody is looking out for
That's
a
nice.
certification, then I think Coursera is the one, is the platform for you. And even LinkedIn has introduced learning.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't personally
Yeah.
tried any course, but I think they have some good stuff out there. Apart from that,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in daily life, I do go. I have to come across. I mean, I go uh, Google documentation. So
Okay.
developer.google does offers you technical documentation by Google experts on various
Mm-hmm.
like search engine optimization, web technologies. So that's another
Mm-hmm.
platform. I know a lot of other, but have not used them, like lighthouselabs.ca. That's another platform. I think
Okay.
it seems like a decent platform to start learning. And if somebody is not, somebody is old school type, so you can always go find books on Amazon and read them on your Kindle or PDF format, whatever you like. So that's the option there as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And another piece of advice is
Mm-hmm.
YouTube is always there. You can go and watch technical videos
Yeah.
for
Exactly.
motivation, like where is the future. TEDx Talks is
Yeah.
a very good channel for that.
Yeah.
So and and even if you're,
Yeah. Even if you're not willing to pay for the online courses, YouTube is always the best source you have for the free
yes,
learning. So
It
There are
will
a lot
give
of
you some
things, right?
insight, maybe not fully, like Udemy or Udacity, etc. But you can get some hands-on, and but if you really want to go through a course-wise study, then yeah, the platforms that we discussed, they will help you. And even you can check out universities in
Okay.
your region. Do they offer any online courses? Or some of them even offer
Okay.
part-time courses. Like I have done one from BCIT in React. So it was a part-time
Okay.
class one day a week. So 3 hours. So that was pretty good.
Okay.
Introduction to React that I had. And yeah, after that you have to, keep your hands on the code so that you get well versed with that skill.
So thanks a lot for your valuable time, and it was great talking to you. And you have helped me to clear a lot of doubts of a lot of people who are new to this industry, or they are experienced and are willing to apply for the jobs in this industry. So it was really nice of you for taking time
Yeah,
and
thank you
sharing
very
your
much,
valuable
and
experience
I
with
will
me.
be really glad if someone benefits from this podcast. Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, sure. A lot of people. Yeah, a lot of
That'll
people
be great.
will get benefit from this. Yeah.
Thank you very much.